Hi, I'm Robin Mayer of Fighting Fish Media. This is part 2 of the Job Hunt Intensive series, Craft the Best Resume for the Job. What's the purpose of the resume and cover letter? The purpose of them is to actually get you in the door. It's to get you the interview. The resume and the cover letter itself doesn't get you the job. Obviously, they're very important and helps you stand out, but the purpose is to get the interview. That's the interview, as we say later, is the heart of the process. 4 common mistakes, and I see these over and over again from very sophisticated applicants, from very smart people. Number 1, poor formatting. Number 2, too long and too dense. Number 3, job descriptions. Boring, just incredibly boring to read job descriptions. You are not the job description. What you want to stress is the stuff you brought to the job. We'll get to more of that later. And then a boring or impersonal cover letter. Dear manager. You want to be writing to a person right off the bat. Right off the bat, you're in the wastebasket. First step is to draft a generic resume, I call it. It's basically the resume for your field. I'll walk you through that, but it's probably something you already have in your computer. It just needs to be cleaned up and edited down. Format correctly. That means, first of all, 1 page, not 2 pages. You don't get to do 2 pages unless you got a PhD, a very long career, and you don't mind age discrimination. Just better to stick with 1 page. When I was transitioning careers and I had to summarize a whole other career, I did it in 2 sentences. You can do 1 page. Classic font, Times Roman 12, whatever, doesn't exactly matter. It should be easy to read. It should be standard. It should not make you look weird. And it should be, most important, easy to read. So generally, too, the format should be easy to read. If I hold up your resume from 3 feet away, you should be able to look at that resume and go, God, that's pretty. It's easy to read. I know I can do it in 30 seconds or less. If it's cluttered and dense and small font or whatever, you may not even really get to that crucial 30 seconds, right? It may just, that's it. Don't sweat the dates. There's a lot of fuss and confusion over dates, and I appreciate them. One reason is job applications tend to be very scrupulous about the dates. The state application, for example, for jobs in California requires not just the month and the year, but the actual date, which no one ever remembers, and you have to guess to the best of your ability. You don't need to do that on your resume. You don't need to do May to August 2020. You just write summer. Make it simple. Over time, you can drop the months and just stick with the years. So don't clutter up your resume with that kind of stuff. Frame the content correctly. A classic for people coming out of school, for example, is that they list their education first. It's a pet peeve of mine. I know the school will tell you to list the school first. Why does the school want you to do that? Because they want the employers to know what wonderful candidates they're producing. It has nothing to do with you and your career. Think about it. When you're in school, you're paying them. When you get a job, they're paying you. Which way do you want the money to flow? You put your professional experience first. And if it doesn't quite fill out, there's just ways to do that. Even if you had to waitress your way through school or whatever. There's ways to handle your professional experience. The point is, you've been in the working world. You've had to work with other people. You've had to work for a boss. Completely different from school. So you want your professional education first. The last 3 jobs are the classic things in reverse order. Internships are definitely an important part of that. I didn't have any compunction about listing my internships as jobs. You shouldn't either. That's how you're getting real-world experience. So use those internships and take them while you can, while you're in school. Then the fun stuff, it makes you look distinctive, interesting sports that you like. We had a guy in my office who had like thousands of reviews he'd written on Yelp. It was a very strange thing to put on his resume, but boy, did it make him stand out. It made him unforgettable. So put those little fun details in there, obviously in a very compressed fashion, toward the end of your resume. No skill lists. So I see a lot of resumes that get bogged down in listing skills. Well, it's a sophisticated world, right? Everyone has probably an enormous skill set. And you just do Microsoft Office alone, which, by the way, is so standard that if you don't have Microsoft Office, I would go learn it. So long lists of skills are really, they're not that helpful unless there's an extremely targeted type of thing you need to know. The other problem with skills is they get old. So if you're putting down all this stuff in 2 years, maybe completely irrelevant. So avoid that. My other peeve along those lines is bullets. I know people like bullets. The problem is they take up a lot of precious space. And so instead of having kind of a nice prose flow, even though you're using these incomplete sentences to fill out your job description, I don't want to say job descriptions, but to fill out your job entries, bullets just take up the space and they're very choppy and they're actually a little awkward to read in your head. So I don't recommend them. Okay, now to the fun stuff. Fill in the content with some flair. Job descriptions take up precious space and they're boring to read. The manager is going to understand your job from the title, most likely. Express what you did that made you valuable, what you brought to the job. The best thing to show is just a pattern of increasing responsibility. If you actually got a promotion, of course, say so, but even if it's just big projects you completed, skills you acquired, maybe skills you acquired and then grew out of, whatever it is that shows that you tackle the job, you're in the job, you're ready to move on. Also, emphasize what you like and downplay what you don't like. This is a very obvious spin, easy to do. If there's something that you didn't like doing in your previous job and you don't want to do it again, why in the world would you put it on your resume? Sometimes you might have to, but give it short shrift. Put it at the end in a very short phrase. Emphasize what you liked, what you like to do. The whole point is you're going to get money to do what you like to do. So have your resume reflect that. So now we're getting to the nitty-gritty. You're going to look at the actual job description for your new job. Know and love your new job description. Download it if possible. It'll help you write your cover letter, help you write your resume. What you want to do is tweak your resume to fit the job description. Now, I'm not saying lie. You always want to be scrupulously honest with the facts. But if there's something you can spin to emphasize that fits better, spin it. That's the point. The manager is going to look at that top job and they're going to see if you fit. They may not even get to the second entry. If you fit, you're probably in for an interview. Draft the cover letter. So now you're ready to draft the cover letter. You have your resume in hand. You have the job description. Here's what I recommend. Obviously, you write what you want. The purpose of the cover letter, however, is to introduce you and talk about your future. It's a really important document. The resume is your past. You can spin it, but there's not much you can do about it. The cover letter is your future. So here's what I recommend. Number one, tell them how you learned of the job. If you have an internal reference whom you can cite and legalese, so-and-so recommended I apply for this job. That's gold, okay? There's nothing better than that. So part of your networking, remember networking like breathing, is that maybe you know somebody in the company or a friend of a friend. That's exactly what I did with the Coastal Commission. It was a friend of a friend who turned me on to the strategic plan, which I used in my cover letter and helped me get the job. Just absolutely, those internal references are like gold. The second paragraph, you explain why you're the best fit. This is where you get into the qualifications and why you're qualified for the job. You don't want to exactly repeat your resume, but maybe sum it up with some highlights and the skills they're looking for. And then third, then you express your passion and interest for the job, and you close the deal. You ask for the interview. So this gets, a couple of things happen a lot here. People start off with how much they want the job. Don't care. I really don't care. Everyone applying wants the job, right? It doesn't make you stand out. So you want to end with your passion, not start with your passion. Second of all, a lot of letters don't close the deal. They don't actually ask for the interview. So close the deal, ask for the interview. Say, don't worry about repeating your contact information. Repeat your contact information and say you are available for an interview at their convenience. Please contact me at this cell phone and this email. Use standard business letter formatting. It's a kind of a lost art. There's nobody around to really tell you business formats, but look at business letters, look online. The problem is it looks sloppy and unprofessional if you don't have a standard business letter format. So you have your address, contact information, obviously at the top with your cell phone and your email. You have the date. You have Dear Mr. or Miss or Ms. XYZ. Not Dear Manager, you're writing to a person. If you don't know who you're writing to, or the online database makes you write to somebody anonymous, okay, send it off anonymously, but also find out who really is doing the hiring and send the letter to them. Nothing prevents you from dropping the letter off in the mail if you have to. If you're writing to blank, you're writing to nobody, you want to actually connect with the hiring manager. Signature. I see a lot of cover letters with blanks, no signature, which is just weird. So if you're comfortable doing an S/ with some kind of signature style font, do that. I think that's totally fine. If you want to use your real signature, then write out your signature, scan it, and incorporate it into the letter. Make sure you do a very high quality scan so it doesn't look sketchy. But whatever you do, sign the letter. Don't forget to proof your cover letter and resume. Proof it in the computer, send it to your mother, send it to a friend, have them proof it, print it out, proof it again. Make sure it's absolutely perfect. If you want to do the acid test, read it backwards. That's what copy editors of old used to do to catch punctuation errors and sometimes even spelling errors. Spellcheck obviously does not cover homonyms and many other kinds of errors, so you have to do it yourself. PDF it. Don't send a Microsoft Word version out in space. Formatting can get messed up. People might alter it. Who knows? So get it nailed down, perfectly formatted, PDF it. It'll show up looking nice and beautiful at the other end. Upload, check that the upload took, and then track what you did. Even in a highly targeted job hunt like I'm recommending, you still might apply 20 or 30 places. You want to know what you did when and be pretty steady about it. So keep track and repeat. So you're going to apply again and again and again using the same methodology, but only jobs that are worth applying for. No scattershot blind sending. Doesn't do anybody any good. Waste your time, waste the employer's time. Reward yourself. This is a very important step throughout the process to keep you from getting burned out. I want to talk about rewards a little bit. They don't have to be big glamorous things. They can be small things. If you never get a caramel latte, get a caramel latte. Do something for yourself that's significant to you. It just reinforces, just a little bit of a carrot to reinforce you through this process. Very important that you recognize your own achievement in applying for a job. It is an achievement. Now, you're uploaded, you're filed, you're on a roll. What are you going to do next? You're going to sit around and wait for the phone to ring? You're going to start preparing for the interview. That's part 3.